So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 34. Translation. Those who strongly desire to cross the ocean of nations must not associate with the modes of ignorance, because hedonistic activities are the greatest obstructions to realization of religious principles, economic development, regulated sense gratification, and at last, liberation. Purport. The four principles of life allow one to live according to religious principles, to earn money according to one's position in society, to allow the senses to enjoy the sense objects according to regulations, and to progress along the path of liberation from this material attachment. As long as the body is there, it is not possible to become completely free from all these material interests. It is not, however, recommended that one act only for for sense gratification and earn money for that purpose only, sacrificing all religious principles. At the present moment, human civilization does not care for religious principles. It is, however, greatly interested in economic development without religious principles. For instance, in slaughterhouse, the butchers certainly get money easily, but such business is not based on religious principles. Similarly, there are many nightclubs for sense gratification and brothels for sex. Sex, however, is allowed in married life only, and prostitution is prohibited, because all our activities are ultimately aimed at liberation, at freedom from the clutches of material existence. It is advised, therefore, that one not act in a way that will obstruct the regular process of advancement in spiritual life and liberation. The Vedic process of sense gratification is therefore planned in such a way that one can economically develop and enjoy sense gratification and yet ultimately attain liberation. Vedic civilization offers us all knowledge in the Shastras, and if we live a regulated life under the direction of Shastras and Guru, all our material desires will be fulfilled. At the same time, we will be able to go forward to liberation. Nakuryat karhichit sangam tamas tivram titirishuhu dharmartha kama mokshanam yadatyanta vigatakam. Those who strongly desire to cross the ocean of nations must not associate with the modes of ignorance, because hedonistic activities are the greatest obstructions to realization of religious principles, economic development, regulated sense gratification, and at last liberation. Can you put it a little louder so that I don't have to eat the microphone? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there are these four activities. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. 4 principles of life that allow one to live according to religious principles. So religiosity, when one is religious, religiosity leads Hare Krishna. You lowered it?
Yeah, because it's
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. When somebody is religious, he goes to church and he prays, God, give me my daily bread. And then he gets bread and he eats it. So he gets bread, maybe symbolic for artha, grains. It may be symbolic for artha or for riches or for wealth. And then kama, sense gratification. You enjoy eating bread, but then if you overeat, you become frustrated. And then you want, somehow you want to get, because this self-gratification brings you suffering, then you want to get free from this. So, you have like the other day one devotee told me, have you heard of Balaram sweets? Balaram sweets? I don't know if they are popular in Germany, but in Slovenia they are very popular. This is very heavy sweet. It's made of butter and powder milk, and it really melts in the mouth. And I'm sorry that I'm mentioning this now before breakfast. It's a favorite of many devotees. So one devotee told me that finished the whole box. And then there was some stomach problems. So then there was a tyaga, renunciation. When you overdo it, then you get fed up and then you want to have a break. So what people do, they do bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga. Excessive enjoyment, renunciation, excessive enjoyment, renunciation, excessive enjoyment. So there are these four principles, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, but there is the fifth principle, Prema Pumartha Mahan, which is not mentioned here, and this is actually attaining the pure love of God as a fifth goal. Now you can also describe these four as goals, and there is one book, one Prabhupada disciple, Mataji, compiled a book called Four Goals of Family Life, and she referred to these four, but of course she also mentioned, I believe she mentioned this Prema Pumartha Mahan, the fifth goal of family life. The fifth goal is attaining pure love of God. Now, Srila Prabhupada has given us a new value system through his books. Like people don't speak about love of God. They go to pray to God to get something, to get cured, to get money, to get bread. And at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, it is said that all materially motivated religion is kicked out. All material motivated religion is kicked out from the Bhagavatam at the very beginning. So, here in the verse, there's a mention of hedonism, which means sense gratification. And Srila Prabhupada mentions what people enjoy the most. He mentions, thank you so much, what people enjoy the most. He mentions liquor shops, drinking alcohol, drinking and enjoying in brothels, prostitution. And then he says something that even devotees don't believe, that all our material desires will be fulfilled. And now you have some experience, 20 years, 30 years in Krishna consciousness, and you sometimes devotees say, yeah, he fulfilled all my desires. If I look back, he fulfilled almost all my material desires, but he fulfilled them not in a way I wanted them to be fulfilled. And you know this song, Frank Sinatra, singing, I did it my way. So Krishna says, I will fulfill your desires, but my way, not your way. Why? Because the way Krishna fulfills desires of people and of devotees, even if they are material desires, is not detrimental to liberation. Is not unfavorable for liberation, but actually it doesn't degrade them. And the way people want to fulfill their desires degrades them, and they get entangled into karmic circle. So now when we do coaching sessions, sometimes we speak with devotees about their desires. I mean, always we speak about desires, because if you have goals, then you have desires. But then I say, okay, let's see how you can fulfill these desires in a Krishna conscious way. Sometimes devotees cannot give up smoking. They are very nice devotees. I mean, hopefully not initiated devotees, because they are supposed to give up smoking before they get initiated. But sometimes devotees who are not initiated, they cannot give up smoking. And then we discuss how can you replace this with something that is not sinful and that is not harmful. And what need are you trying to fulfill? What need are you trying to fulfill by having something in your mouth? What is this need? Oh, it makes me a little peaceful because I inhale and then I exhale, and I become more focused. And I know my schoolmate, he wanted to smoke while he learns for the exams or for the. I mean, we went to high school together, so he was learning, and he is very concentrated when he smokes, very focused. It helps him. So can you be focused without cigarettes? Then focus is one reason, maybe better focus, maybe more peace when you. How many of you have smoked? I mean, I speak in theory because I have not smoked, so I'm trying to understand about smoking, and you can correct me if I say something wrong. Another thing is that I have to have something in my mouth. Okay, so you can have something else in your mouth. You don't have to have a cigarette. So what can you have in your mouth? So sometimes they put chewing gum, or sometimes they just eat whole day prasadam and gain weight. So you can put something else. I mean, you can put piece of ginger. Also, it's very healthy. I heard it also protects you from. It also protects you. Audarya Dhamma Prabhu, Dr. Tursunov said, it protects you from the virus. And I mean, sometimes we have ginger downstairs. And also he said, if you put it around your wrist, it protects you. You wrap it and put it here. He said this is even better than having it in your mouth. But okay, piece of ginger you can have in your mouth, or cloves. You know cloves? Cloves? Mm-hmm. So cloves also, they are very good for the teeth and for health in general. They are not so tasty, but you can have it in your mouth. I don't know what else people have, some like tic-tac. So different things that you can, but don't put the cigarettes. Put something that is not so harmful. And one can think, I mean, you can tell me, you who were smoking, what need your smoking was fulfilling. Can you share? Yes?
So I want to share the fact that the nicotine is as a very dangerous as a drug. It's as an entwickelt and it's as a developed die Abhängigkeit,
Addiction.
The addiction as a faster than heroin.
But what need it fulfills?
So just to do it one more time because your body needs as a nicotine to think, to be calm and like this. And when you are doing this as a more than in a couple of weeks, it's as getting a very strong as an addiction, and you just need it to be normal, to be quiet, to be calm, and so on. And when you don't get this, you get very nervous.
So you first get addicted and then you have a need for it.
Yes.
But before that, what need did you try to fulfill? Just to get a head spinning? Yes?
I mean, people doing it because they're curious what it's all about.
Curious?
Yeah.
Or because my father is doing it?
Yeah, and they are not well aware about the process when one takes a cigarette, what then happens with them, and that they get addicted. This is another thing, but often it is just for curiosity.
Uh-huh.
When they ask people why you're smoking, often they say it cools me down, or I become chilled a little bit, or whatever like this.
Mm-hmm. Cools them down.
I mean, one can see also often people who are smokers when they're coming out from their house and they have to wait at the bus station, example. When they are alone with their own mind, they are becoming restless, and to become cool, the first thing what they do is they're putting out a cigarette. The cigarette somehow toxins them in such a way that they become more cool, maybe, I don't know what this is. They have different, there are different ways why the people taking it. It has different purposes, serves different purposes.
But did they make interviews with people about this? Have you seen some interviews, like some survey, why are you smoking? Maybe they did, probably.
Yeah, of course. But what I witnessed, I never saw anyone who were inhalating were smiling.
Uh-huh.
Because this is quite a painful process when you're inhalating a hot steam. It's just, I never saw them smiling while they were.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. We never saw them smiling. Yeah, you wanted to say?
I remember that but in our school when we were a little big up, then there was this group dynamic. If you don't smoke, you are not.
Peer pressure.
Social pressure.
Social pressure.
Then you look cool if you have this.
Okay, we don't want to continue to speak so much, to give so much importance, but for me it's helpful when I hear from you, because sometimes I'm in a position to help a devotee and I'm not sure how to help them because I don't have this experience myself. I just didn't like it. I didn't like alcohol, I didn't like drugs, but those who have this experience, they understand better what the need is fulfilled by this. So anyway, so the whole idea is to replace something, some need and desire with something that is Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada says here, fulfill all desires. We have everything in Krishna consciousness. One woman asked him, what do you think about Zen and yoga? And he said, in Krishna consciousness there is everything and much more. Everything that you can find in other religions, it's there, but there is much more. So he said, if you go to the 102nd floor or store floor, in the building, that means you have surpassed 10th, 20th, 50th, 60th, and so on. So, and also he said that the Vedas are like encyclopedia, encyclopedic dictionary, and the other scriptures are like pocket dictionary. Now, some people get offended with this. I mean, you cannot say this to people from other religions, because they will get offended. They will say, oh, you say you are better than us and you have more knowledge. So be careful how you say to people about this. But it is a fact that there is more knowledge. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not that we are bragging or we are trying to say we are better. But we just got more knowledge from the Vedas, because in the Vedas you have more than everything. How can you say that? More than everything. Everything includes everything.
I mean, we have also cars. The car is there for transportation, but still you can make the distinction between the quality of the cars. So that not makes the car bad in that sense of the purpose. But
yeah, and some is faster also. Some car is faster than other. Prabhupada also speaking about speed. He said this process brings you faster to the higher level. Yes, you?
Yeah, I want to ask you about other religions, and what is your opinion to other books in other religions, as in like examples in the Bible or in as a Muslim?
Well, you can ask me at the end of the class, and I will finish soon. You write it down.
Okay.
Yesterday I promised you that I will do research about Prabhupada's question, what is your opinion and what do you think? And for what do you think in the database, there is 700 entries. So for the phrase, what do you think? And for the phrase, what is your opinion, maybe 130 or something like that. So this is huge. I mean, I don't know how much of this is Prabhupada's teachings, because there is from other devotees also books, because the database research, I can research only Prabhupada's teachings and see how many quotes are there. And so there is different, I mean, there is situations when people ask him, what do you think? So this is not what we are looking for. We are looking for quotes when Prabhupada asks his disciples, what do you think? Because in the evening we are speaking about thinking and about independent thinking, and that Prabhupada also wanted his disciples to think, and he would ask them for opinion. And then in another occasion he would say, what is the value of your opinion? You are just speculating. I mean, he didn't say this to his disciples, but he said about scholars, about scientists, and about different thinkers. You know, everybody wants to say, it's my opinion, or I think this. So what's the value? Because you're in ignorance. So what is the value of your opinion? So this, you use this phrase, what is your opinion about other religions and things like that. So here we can mention the principle of Yukta Vairagya, that almost everything can be used. Almost everything can be used in Krishna service. So what cannot be used in Krishna service? Meat? Okay. What else?
Envy.
Envy. Who said envy? You? You said envy. Uh-huh. Yeah. How can... Envy is there also in the spiritual world, but this envy is not material. So material envy you cannot use. Okay, envy, but Krodha, I mean, out of 6 highway robbers, how many can it be used? Well, envy is one, it cannot be used. So we have Kama, Lobha, we have lust, greed, Krodha, anger, madness. We can use madness? No?
When we become mad for Krishna.
Yes, and illusion? We can use illusion, because because Krishna's devotees, they actually are in illusion and they don't know that Krishna is God. They just love him. Yoga Maya can cover you.
But this is another kind of illusion.
Yoga Maya, it's a specific illusion. It's a different kind of illusion. Yeah. So everything Prabhupada says can be spiritualized. This is amazing. I remember a long time ago I read a book called The Secret of the Golden Flower from the Chinese tradition, and then they speak about sublimation of energy. Sublimation, and then Prabhupada, and I wasn't sure what it means, and then when I read Prabhupada's books, he explained what it means, and so the idea of sublimation of energy, or you can say purification of energy, is attractive, it's interesting, but they always explain it without God. They don't mention God, and Srila Prabhupada explained this in relation to God. So we say almost everything can be utilized and Krishnaized and spiritualized. And when people get this impression that we renounce everything, but actually we don't renounce, we engage it in Krishna service, and that's very practical. I mean, and Prabhupada would say you don't have to leave anything, like Brahmana Kurma in Chaitanya Charitamrita is described. Brahmana Kurma wanted to leave everything and go with Lord Chaitanya, and he told him, no, you stay here and liberate everyone in your land. You stay here, continue with your family life, but preach Krishna consciousness. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. It's so practical, and it doesn't tell you renounce everything, and and it's actually more difficult to stay and do something than to go away and just, don't bother. Don't bother with anything. You're just alone in this forest, you have no problems. The only problem is how to survive. But you can eat something, you can eat fruits, nuts, you can eat some leaves. You can have a garden, you can cultivate vegetables. So one can be very happy without problems, living alone. But to stay with people is more difficult. It's more difficult. Because with people, you have to fight. And you have to have argument, and you have to cooperate, which is very difficult. So, if some sannyasi is speaking about family life, it's not as powerful as when Grihastha is speaking about family life, because Grihastha has passed through grinding. You know grinding? He's passed through the grinder, through all kinds of ups and downs, all kinds of difficulties and conflicts. And when I see Grihasthas who has survived in a relationship for so many years, I think these people are heroes. Because they had to go through so many difficulties just to remain together, which is in Kali Yuga so hard. In Kali Yuga is so hard. And therefore we have this Grihastha Vision team who is counseling devotees and helping them. And this is a great help. And they say that if you have strong families or strong marriages, we will have strong ISKCON. Because most of the devotees are actually not brahmacharis. Most of the devotees are in white, either married grihasthas or maybe planning to get married, or maybe not feeling I am a brahmachari or like this. So it's a very important service that they are doing, but they are also getting older, so we need some new. And people I know one couple, maybe you know them, maybe they came here, Sridham? No? Sridham and Kishori? They are from Chaupati. They were preaching in Europe, in England, in Slovenia. No, they didn't come here. So they speak about devotee care and counseling system. They are counselors. And they were initiated by Kirtanananda, but then later took initiation from Radhanath Swami. And they preach together. They sit and preach together and take shifts. He speaks few minutes, she speaks few minutes, or 5 minutes or something. And that's very nice to see. They have one daughter. It's very nice to see that husband and wife are preaching together at the same time. And of course, she's counseling more ladies, not more, she's counseling ladies, and he's counseling Prabhus. And they have a long time marriage. They are educated, he has business. So, to me, the main spiritualization that we need to do as a movement is spiritualization of marriage. Because this is the main, this is the pillar of society. The family is the pillar of society. So if we speak about Yukta Vairagya, we speak about spiritualizing things, engaging things that are present in the material world, engaging them in Krishna service, then how to have strong marriages. And for this, you have to understand, if you're a husband or a wife, you have to understand the psychology of a man or a woman. And experienced Gurus, they actually explain this in detail. And also in the Shastra we can see, Prabhupada sometimes speaks about the psychology of men and psychology of women. And many mundane experts also describe things that are useful about the psychology of man or woman, that are useful, that are universally applicable to any kind of human being. It doesn't matter what is your religion, but there is some common things that are there in the psychology of man or woman. And if you understand that, then you can adjust your behavior and your approach and your interactions with a person of the opposite gender with whom you're trying to have a union or communion or marriage. And then there will be more peaceful marriages. Understanding each other's spiritual and material needs. And I spoke to one Grihastha in Italy. He has 5 sons. He's 70 years old. And I asked him, Prabhu, how did you make it for so many years? His wife is there also. So we had a breakfast one morning with him, and we had a program at his home, and we slept overnight with Ramachandra Prabhu. And I wanted to learn something from him because he's a successful family man. He made it for so many years. And I asked him, so what actually is the secret of your success in such a long marriage? And what do you think he said? One word, he said. He said one word. Can you guess? What is the secret of long marriage? I think it's a song by Guns N' Roses with that name. How many of you have listened to Guns N' Roses? Don't raise your hand. I haven't. I just heard. Or, I don't know if this is their song, but the title of the song is this word. I tried to give you a little help, but you didn't like. You liked maybe Metallica or something. Huh? You liked Kraftwerk from Germany.
There's one German hip-hop musical.
Hip hop.
Singer
What's his name?
Thomas D.
Thomas?
Thomas D.
Thomas
D.
Devotee. D. Okay, so anyway, we will finish. So he said patience. Patience. So patience is love in action. If you love someone, you will be patient. You will be patient. So what is written on the t-shirt? What is written on the t-shirt of the person you love? Be patient, I'm not perfect yet. This is written on everybody's shirt. So if you love someone, you will be patient, you will wait until they become perfect, or you will help them to become perfect. And so you always encourage them, okay, chant, follow, chant, read. And they say, oh, I can chant. Can't. Chant. Can't. You can. And so it's not easy, but patience is this a quality of a brahmana or something, or devotee? So we have to do a research on patience. We have to do a research on patience because we need patience, because in this age, people are nervous, they are impatient, they cut each other with the car, and then we are impatient when people don't understand things immediately when we tell them something. So we are impatient in so many situations. But if we love people, if we love devotees, we will be more patient. Okay, do you have any questions?
Yes.
You first. Who is the gentleman?
You first.
Okay, surrender. But Philip.
I would like to know that if it's always been said that Krishna consciousness has everything to fulfill your material desires, or to take away your material desires, and things like giving up smoking, or not. This is not a good example because it's hard to give up. But there are some other things that people are not able to give up, like desires of the material nature. And if Krishna consciousness has everything, what is the problem? They can't give it up, these material desires, if they...
Because they're not convinced that there is everything, that there is a replacement for everything, and they also didn't develop a higher taste. They still have this, you see, you become attached to enjoyment. So you think, oh, it was so nice. Although you were not so happy, but you still think it was so nice when I went to the concert of Metallica, or to the, Germany won the World Cup. It was so, I had goosebumps when Germany, not me, when Germany won the World Cup. And one Maharaj told me, he was very honest. It was some years ago, but he was already a Maharaj from ISKCON. He said, when I hear the hum of the stadium, the hum of the stadium, he said, I get goosebumps. He said like that. So you have the same in the rock concert also. You have this, you like this, so much excitement. They are screaming like crazy because something will happen that they will enjoy. Either it's a goal or it's a solo or something. So people are not convinced. So we need, if we want to preach to people, you cannot tell people you are suffering, because they say, no, I'm not suffering. You are suffering. You are carrying the book bag going around, and I'm sitting here drinking and watching women. So. If you tell them you are suffering, we will not. But if they see that we are happier than them, they will say, "How do you do this?" You understand? So when people see that we have something better, then they will be curious, and they will ask us, "How did you give up? You were smoking, you were, going to concerts. So how did you give these things up?" And you say, "Well, because I'm not a big yogi to renounce anything, but I got something better." That's the only way. I think, in Kali Yuga. You want to say something? No? Okay, you hear the question?
Yes, so I want to
Gentlemen.
So I wanted to ask you about other religions, yes, and so actually we know that the Quran was written by Muhammad, and he was hearing the God. The Bible was written from so many people who was on the saying, it's not me, it's everything so God. So do you think can we think about this in books like a part of Shastras? Because it's actually the word from the God. So actually there is no difference from the Bhagavad Gita, as I think. What is your opinion? How can you comment?
If they are original, if they are not changed, like Bhagavad Gita was also changed, that Srila Prabhupada he has written Bhagavad Gita as it is, because there are so many editions. So if their original scriptures have not been changed, sometimes they do research and they find out some original statements, and in these scriptures there is universal principles. They are the same everywhere, so they have value.
Yes.
I mean, so there is knowledge in other scriptures, because the Son of God is not only one, the representative of God is not only one. For different people, God appears in different places. But I have sent, I think, to Bhakta Sebastian the interfaith brochure, and you should all read it because it will help you in the preaching. Did you get it?
Yes.
Interfaith brochure.
Yes.
So you read it and you teach me
Okay.
how to relate to other people and other religions. Okay?
Yes.
Who has the best question? Last question?
I had one more question.
We had one person online, now we have 4. That's 4 times more. Thank you for listening, everybody. Where's the camera? Here, here, here. Oh, this is not video. Okay. Yes?
No.
No.
Thank you for the lecture.
Thank you everyone for listening, online and offline. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.